What's up, YouTube? So, as you've probably noticed, there was a Hurricane Irma in Florida. And as always seems to happen when there is a natural disaster of some sort, there has to be people taking advantage of it for their own gain. And one of the things that I saw that really pissed me off to my core was the looters. There was a TV station that actually caught looters in the act. And it's like, if you watch this footage here, I'll show it right now. What do you guys think of that? These looters break into a Footlocker so they can steal Air Jordans? Because yeah, when I think hurricane, my first thought is to get myself a new pair of shoes. And honestly, if that were to be my first thought during a hurricane, it wouldn't be Air Jordans. So fortunately, these people were caught, and I think that there were 9 of them, 9 or 11. I don't know how many there were. Way too many. Why are you looting a Footlocker of all places to loot? I mean, couldn't you foresee that you would need food for your baby? I could somewhat believe an excuse if somebody were looting a Walmart for food for their baby because they were starving and everything was closed. Sure, I'd buy that. But a Footlocker? I mean, come on. So the other place that they looted was Cash America Pawn. Yeah, like of all life choices that you're gonna make, you're gonna loot. But not only are you gonna loot, you're gonna loot used stuff. It doesn't even make sense to loot used stuff. Why would you loot somebody else's stuff they didn't want? There's a reason it's at a pawn shop. I love the Fort Lauderdale police chief's quote on this issue. He said, and I'm going to read it, "Going to prison over a pair of sneakers is a pretty bad life choice. But in all fairness, I imagine they've made a number of really poor life choices. So, So I didn't know this. This is something I learned. There is actually a charge of burglary during a natural disaster. So there's a new one, I guess. So the other person taking advantage of Hurricane Irma was Polk County Sheriff Judd. And what he did was he posted these warnings on Twitter saying that if you have a warrant, you will be taken to a safe harbor jail. The reason that this is so awful is because he took advantage of a natural disaster. People are afraid, they're being told to go to shelters. He's gonna throw these people under the bus and say, if you have a warrant for, let's say, most warrants are for minor, let's say traffic infractions. But he makes it seem like if he weren't doing this, if you were in the shelter, would be sleeping right next to a chomo. I mean, look out, they're everywhere.
If you're a sexual predator and a sexual offender, we're not going to let you sleep next to any 5 or 6 or 7-year-old baby.
Let's be honest, it doesn't even guarantee that all of these people with warrants going to jail, that doesn't guarantee that you're not going to be sitting next to a child molester. They could be there anyway, they just haven't been discovered. So the good thing there, though, is that he is being sued, and I think that is great because you should not take advantage of a natural disaster, even if you are the police.
Never before did I think that we'd be beat up for giving people a warning and keeping people safe, but hey, that's okay.
The lawsuit that was filed lists a number of reasons for why this is wrong, aside from the ones that are obvious. The director of communications, Scott Wilder, posts on Facebook, this is what he says, in regards to the lawsuit, whatever these people said, quote, they are lying to you. We have not read whatever they said they have filed. Whatever it is frivolous and without merit.
She's lying! Whatever she says, it's not true!
Well, how would you know that if you haven't read it? He defends the sheriff's actions, saying that he doesn't want child molesters next to people who are seeking shelter during the hurricane, and points out that there are 8,000 active warrants in that county. What he probably forgot to mention was that most of them were for traffic infractions. Way to go, police. Way to represent the police community in a positive light. Thank you for that. So I want to know what you think. I want to know if this kind of stuff bothers you. It bothers me. I think it's inexcusable. And when there's a disaster, a natural disaster like a hurricane, when literally 30% of the entire state is being evacuated, the last thing you want to worry about is somebody with a traffic infraction sleeping in the cot next to you. That's not what I'm thinking about during a hurricane. And I'm also not thinking about my new Air Jordans that I just stole from the Footlocker. So leave your comments down below, because I really do want to hear what you have to say, and like and subscribe, because there's a lot more coming.